Hello, fellow travelers. My name is Carmen Rowe, and this is day 3 of living a mindful life, one day at a time for 30 days. And technically, this would be day 4 because I did not, in fact, do a video yesterday, but I did do a great deal of mindfulness. This time, maybe not the moment by moment in each day that we're talking about, because I had a very good opportunity with my neighbor who's a Thai Buddhist to have a day of meditation. We started out with some sitting and then walking meditation and a Dharma talk with a visiting monk, and more sitting and more walking meditation after some communal potluck lunch. And so clearly a focused meditation event, not the minute things that you can do in your daily life, but I thought I'd share anyway because, well, that's part of it, right? Is finding focused moments to do this. And I trying to think of just a short thing to share. And I think what's interesting is I had a really hard time being mindful at all, other than being mindful of trying to be mindful. My brain just awful busy, and part of it a physical distraction. My body's been super tight after a 10-day road trip. Not shocking, but it all added up to a real challenge in being mindful, even in this day of focused mindfulness. And, letting go of expectations, because I have to admit, I was expecting a certain amount of finding my equilibrium and peacefulness after this day. And I can't say that I came out with it a whole lot more relaxed than I went in. But I did learn a couple interesting things I don't quite know how to encapsulate, but I'll share what I tried, and if there's more to share later as I process that, then we'll talk about it. But the walking meditation is interesting, and nothing I've done in a focused way. I've thought on walks and that kind of thing, being mindful of my feet and looking around, but not as a focused meditative exercise. And she's got a 3-acre property, was taking a path around the perimeter, but still it was challenging. And the 2 things I came today to share is, one, that's okay when that happens and you just stay in the moment and do the best you can, because it's all little building blocks, just like going to the gym. Maybe you didn't have your best workout, but cumulatively they'll add up. This is no different. You're just exercising your brain instead of a muscle, but it's the same exact concept. So on this, in the walking, when I was having trouble silencing anything, or I could focus on my feet, but I still had 10 different thoughts at the same time running through my head, I started just letting myself look around, and I've always found peace with that. And I did finally find something a lot closer to that state than when I was just trying to feel my feet. And I would look at my environment and look at the leaves and look at the wind blowing the leaves. I mean, it sounds so corny, but you know what I'm talking about. I hope that you're looking around and really seeing what's around you. And I talked about that a little bit yesterday, and that one of the great techniques in grounding yourself in your body and in the present moment. And that worked for me. I don't know if technically that would be considered part of the technique, but I don't know that there is a right or a wrong. It's whatever works for you in the end. At least that's how I'm being taught, and what I would tend to agree with, maybe just hope to buy into, but it makes some sense. And so that's how I found the opportunity to be mindful, a little quieter, a little more present in the moment, is both feeling my feet and sight, using that extra sense to shut out the noise, or at least quiet the chattering voice in my brain, the monkey mind. And that was pretty cool. And I think that's part of the path, as you figure out what works for you in any given moment. And so I'd encourage you, as you go through your day, to just experiment with the minute things that can happen. And I'll share something a little bit quirky that happened. Is on my second go around, I realized I had a lot better success grounding in my feet when I went really slowly and really focused on not just my feet, but also my balance. Part of what happened is I tweaked my knee a while ago, so my leg, after sitting for so long, was just super tight, and had trouble operating like a leg's supposed to. It just was very stiff and very awkward. And so I almost more than the sensation in my feet, although I did take the time to do that, it meant going super, super ridiculously slow and getting over feeling awkward about that. I mean, of all places, this was the time that people were doing exactly that. But funny how you stay so self-conscious when that's your pattern. But I worked on feeling the balance of moving from one leg to the next. And some of that was to help my leg get back with the rest of my body a little bit. But that also helped in the rhythm and feeling of the weight of my body as it shifted from heel to toe and then to the next heel and toe, and maintaining my balance when doing that, which is surprisingly challenging when you're a little bit off and you're moving so slow and not walking in your normal way. It was kind of cool. And at some point, this is going to sound a little wacky, but I actually just had this impulse to close my eyes because I had such a strong sense of what was around me once I slowed up. And I made it all the way around the property, opening my eyes a handful of times to just make sure I was on the path. I always was. And I knew that the worst that would happen is I'd stand in a couple ferns if I got off the trail. It was a trail very smooth and kept up for walking meditation. So it was a pretty safe trail for doing this. And it was a rather extraordinary experience, and a lot of it is it enabled me to really get down to feeling my feet, and then a huge lesson in trusting yourself. It was very interesting. It may be more to say about that, but I wanted to keep this one short. So to the extent any of that helps anybody, I hope so, and I hope you're having a great day and continue on your journey one day at a time. Thanks.